Yo, what is up, everybody? It is your favorite engineer, Drew, back with another video. And as you can tell by the title, in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to master your songs and get them loud enough to compete with industry records. So let's get into how I did it.
Yeah. When we pull up on that darling drive, tell me that it's fun inside. Shorty got that shit, it looking wetter than a slip and slide. Tell me what's up, baby, you ain't gotta lie. Heard you got another guy, you can push him to the side for me, what's up? And you got your hair on fleek, take you out of shopping, baby, got your nails on fleek, but you ain't a cop.
So as you guys just heard, that was the full track mix and master. This was actually the same song from last video where I showed you how to turn your $100 mic into sounding pro. So let me show you what I have here. Now, the first thing that I wanted to do was get some of those dynamics controlled with the song itself and kind of just start leveling it out a little bit. So what we have here was we have the Pro C2 from FabFilter. Now this is just a nice compressor and I used the mastering setting right here. And then what I did was I turned the ratio down to around 2. So it's lighter on the ratio. Then I wanted the attack to be quick. So I had it at 0.255 milliseconds. So very fast attack. And then the release, I wanted it at 209 milliseconds. So it's kind of like a medium release. Now right here you see the thresholds at -6.73. Now this is really going to depend on your song itself. What I like to do is I like to aim around for 3 decibels maybe of gain reduction max, and that's just where I find that it just still keeps that clean sound but starts to get those dynamics controlled. So with this, I'm going to play it without the compressor first, and then I'm going to show you what the settings are doing.
When we pull up on that darling drive, tell me that it's fun inside. Shorty got that shit, it looking wetter than a slip and slide. Tell me what's up, baby, you ain't gotta lie. Heard you got another guy, you can push him to the side for me, what's up?
And then this is gonna be with the compressor, so you can see really how this compressor is working.
When we pull up on that darling drive, tell me that it's fun inside. Shorty got that shit, it looking wetter than a slip and slide. Tell me what's up, baby, you ain't gotta lie. Heard you got another guy, you can push him to the side for me, what's up?
So as you can see, the compressor is really just taming in that kick, because I realized that that low end energy was a lot more powerful than I needed, especially when I want to get this record sounding nice and loud and competing. So we kind of controlled that kick and also just brought in other elements back up in the mix so that it really just glued it together. And as you can see on the gain, I added back in 2 decibels to make up for that gain reduction that we're doing. So yeah, that is the Pro C2. Now, next we're gonna get into one of the biggest things in my chain. Now this is a very kind of not the way that a lot of people are gonna do this, because when you're mastering, you really don't wanna push your EQ that hard. But we're gonna go into my EQ and you're gonna see I did a lot of work in this EQ. Now, part of this was because I'm trying to mix in with a 2-track beat. And yes, I could have thrown this EQ on the actual beat itself and it probably would have sounded better, but I honestly got the sound of my master to where I liked it. So I kind of just threw this EQ on and I realized that this gave the song a whole new sound. And this is really just gonna push that mix up front in your face. So with this EQ, you're gonna really hear a big difference. So let me show you what this EQ sounds like. So first we're gonna go with it off.
When we pull up on that darling drive, tell me that it's fun inside. Shorty got that shit, it looking wetter than a slip and slide. Tell me what's up, baby, you ain't gotta lie. Heard you got another.
And then this is with.
When we pull up on that darling drive, tell me that it's fun inside. Shorty got that shit, it looking wetter than a slip and slide. Tell me what's up, baby, you ain't gotta lie. Heard you got another guy, you can push him to the side for me, what's up?
So right there, you saw that it really pushed up that mix right up front in your face pretty much. And I just like the way it sounds. So that's what I'm saying. Don't just follow norms. Do stuff that's not typically done and you'll end up getting to where you actually like. Now, I'm not saying do this on every track. You definitely should take the time to EQ the beat, EQ the vocals a little bit differently. You know, really get that sound before you go into the mastering stage. But with this song, I got it done really quick. I mean, this song was a freestyle, so I didn't really take too much time on the mix and effort. I got it to where I liked it sonically. So with this EQ, it's really getting it up front and in your face. After that, we're gonna go into one of my favorite mastering plugins, the Ozone 11. Now, this is pretty much just a collection of different mastering plugins that you can use, and I actually use this as the EQ instead. You can't push this EQ as hard as the parametric EQ because it's a mastering EQ, so your levels are not gonna go up as high. So usually I would use this when I'm mastering because I don't need to push a song that much EQ wise, but for this song I really needed to push it, so that's why I use the parametric EQ too. You know, just make make it sound a little bit more clean. For this specific song, I didn't do anything with the EQ. Then we have the clarity module. Now what this is doing, this is just gonna clear up a little bit of that high end and make it a little bit less harsh. So let me show you what this clarity is gonna do.
On that darling drive, tell me that it's fun inside. Shorty got that shit, it looking wetter than a slip and slide. Tell me what's up, baby, you ain't gotta lie. Heard you got another guy, you could push him to the side for me, what's up? And you got your hair on fleek, take you out of shopping, maybe got your nails on fleek, but you
So I did was I dragged this little frequency band split up to 706 hertz, and then I turned up the amount to 24, and I just found that it gave it a little bit more of that clearness in that top end and sounded pretty good for what I wanted. Pretty simple with that. Next, we're gonna go into the maximizer. Now this is where I really start pushing that mix to get it where I want. And with this, I use the clipping mode and I turned on the delta. So what the delta is gonna do is it's gonna allow you to hear what's being affected by the limiter itself. With this specifically, I wanted to kind of control that kick just a little bit more. So that's what I was aiming to kind of bring down a little bit. But also what this is going to do is it's going to bring up the rest of the elements as well. So it's going to give the song a lot more loudness in it. So I'm going to show you in the delta mode what it's doing. You're only going to hear what it's affecting, and you're pretty much only going to hear the kick, and you'll hear a little bit of the snare. So as you can hear, it's really just affecting that kick and that snare, and you'll hear a little bit of the vocals come in and out. We're controlling just mainly the kick and a little bit of the snare because that was our target for this song. So all I did was I boosted it up by 5 decibels on the gain. That's pretty simple. Now I'm going to show you without the maximizer and then with it, and you're really going to hear a loudness difference because we're boosting it up by 5 decibels. So this is without.
when we pull up on that darling drive, tell me that it's fun inside. Shorty got that shit, it looking wetter than a slip and slide. Tell me what's up, baby, you ain't gotta lie.
And then this is with. You're going to really hear the loudness come up. Headphone users, warning.
When we pull up on that darling drive, tell me that it's fun inside. Shorty got that shit, it looking wetter than a slip and slide. Tell me what's up, baby, you ain't gotta lie. Heard you got another guy, you could push him to the side for me, what's up?
So that was actually the main push into our limiter to get it that loudness we wanted. And all we're gonna do after that really is we're gonna add another limiter, this time the Pro L2. And all I did was I boosted the gain by 0.2 here, and then I turned the output down to negative 0.3 right here. That's because I don't want the song hitting at exactly 0 decibels. I want it to hit a little bit under that. I wanted it at negative 0.3 because it's a little bit safer than just putting your mix up to hitting 0 decibels. You always want it a little bit less than that. You really don't want it to hit exactly at 0. So what I do is I just put that down to 0.3. Now you're going to notice that even with the gain here, it's only 0.2, but we're still going to get a little bit of reduction in this because we're already pretty much at 0 with that last limiter. So that's why with this limiter, I just wanted to push it a little bit less because we don't need it to do that much. We're already pretty much where we need it loudness wise. So let's hear what it sounds like without it and then with, and then you're going to see how this is working.
When we pull up on that darling drive, tell me that it's fun inside. Shorty got that shit, it looking wetter than a slip and slide. Tell me what's up, baby, you ain't gotta lie. Heard you got another guy, you could push him to the side for me, what's up? And you got your hair on fleek, take you out of shot.
So you can see we're doing up to 1.6 decibels of gain reduction and really controlling it, just that final step. And I actually have a few metering plugins at the end of my chain. So when I am doing my masters, I always have a tonal balance control. Now this is going to tell you if your frequency spectrum is in the range that you need it, and I like to pretty much get it hitting every one of these bands in here, and then I like to go into the fine and really see where it's hitting. So when I play this, you're going to see
up on that darling drive, tell me that it's fun inside. Shorty got that shit, it looking wetter than a slip and slide. Tell me what's up, baby, you ain't gotta lie. Heard you got another guy, you could push him to the side for me, what's up? And you got your hair on fleek.
So as you can see with the tonal balance control, it's kind of telling me where my spectrum is on based off of many records on the hip hop chart. The high end could probably be brought down a little bit. Now that's probably coming from the vocals and the hi-hat, just because I have a fresh air plugin on the vocals and I'm pushing it pretty good. But I wanted that brighter characteristic with this mix. So you're gonna see this come up a little bit, sometimes over, and then the high mids are gonna be a little bit lower. Usually I like to get those high mids up because that's gonna give you more perceived loudness. For this song, I just liked where it was in the current frequency range. Sometimes I'll go back and adjust the EQ when I'm looking at the tonal balance control, just to get it to fit into spots where I like it. Then after that tonal balance control, the main meter that I'm going to be looking at is this thing right here, the Isotope Insight 2. Now this is a great metering plugin. There's a free version called I think it's Ozone loudness meter, which is a great plugin to measure your loudness. And what I like to do is I like to target around -5 on the momentary LUFS, and that is basically just pretty much just measuring where your kick is at the peak, how loud your song is really at in a specific short period of time right there. And then integrated could be around -8 LUFS. It really depends on how dynamic the song is, how much you pushed that kick up, how much you pushed everything else up. And then the short term, I usually aim around 7 LUFS right there. If you haven't heard of the loudness wars, a lot of people are just going to tell you to set it at -14 LUFS or something like that. But in reality, you want to push it a lot higher, because -14 LUFS is the standard for like Spotify and a lot of other platforms out there. And if you're just getting your song to hit exactly at -14 integrated LUFS, what it's going to do is it may even end up boosting your song in volume. And the last thing you want is a streaming service to boost the volume of your song. You want to do it before it goes out there, because you want to do it while you have a lot more control with the song. So that's why when you hear an industry record and then you listen to your own track, sometimes you'll be like, wow, theirs is so much louder. The mid-range is really a big thing when you're trying to get your songs loud. I notice if my mid-range doesn't sound right, my song's not going to sound as loud as a commercial record. I'm not going to be able to get it as loud sounding, and that is because the mid-range has a lot of that perceived loudness in the song. So you kind of want to learn how to control the mid-range. That's the most important part going into your mastering, and push it till you get to that -5 momentary LUFS. And that's where I find that all the other meters get to where I like it, when I push it to around that -5 level. It's really just going to make the song loud enough to compete with an industry record. Now, the way I check was I go into the Ozone 11, I drag another instance of this, and there's a couple different plugins you can use for this, but this Ozone right here, it's not doing anything to the sonics. It's literally just there so I can reference another track. I will drag in a commercial record and listen to that compared to mine and make sure all the sonics sound good. And that's how I really know when I hit that loudness that I want to get it to. But yeah, thank you for requesting this video. I'll put your name right here. I forgot who it was, but thank you for requesting this video. Hopefully this helps you getting your masters to where you want it. But yeah, I'm going to have this preset available on my website right now if you want to go buy it. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully this helps you get the masters you want. And if it did, make sure you comment down below what you want to hear next. And also, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button. Stay tuned for more videos. Thanks for watching. Peace.